I'm Gillian Thomas. I am the Academy Psychologist at Reading Football Club, working throughout the Academy from under 9s to under 23s.
And my name's Angy and I'm a sports chaplain working with Reading Women's Football Club.
My role is a mixture of one-to-one, so sitting down with players to talk about performance issues or wellbeing issues, workshop focus sessions, so getting them in teams or groups to discuss performance or other issues that have come up in the curriculum. And also doing training and game day observations, so going to their matches, taking notes on them.
We look out for people who need pastoral care. We're spiritually reactive, so people will come and raise spiritual questions with me. That's not something I would raise. So just making sure everybody's okay, listening to them, seeing how they are, not just with their football but with their general life, and just being somebody who's a bit of a neutral person that they can come to and chat. It's very difficult to compartmentalise your life, so if you have things going on in one aspect of your life, when you come to play football, whether it's just training or whether it's a match, you can't just ditch those bits in your life. You will carry those with you and they will affect you whether you're aware of it or not. So it's just a case of providing a place to offload.
And I think it's really important to look at our players as people first and players second. So actually, how can we look after them, whether that's at school with their schoolwork, whether that is stuff that's going on in their home life, whether that is sort of on pitch areas. So it's really about, we want to get the best performance out of them, of course, but we want to make sure that throughout their academy journey and their journey with us and whatever they go on to in the future, that they're like really good people to be able to deal with the pressures of whatever they get up to in the rest of their lives.
It's really good for us to be part of the main club and to, as you say, to train at Bearwood, to have the use of the facilities there is brilliant, and to be welcomed into the Medeski Stadium as well, rather than having to go to Wickham to play our games. So it's lovely to be based in Reading, and we're very grateful to the club for encompassing us in their plans.
All the pitches are next to each other, so you can almost see the transition through the academy from sort of under 14, under 15, all the way through to under 23s, and then obviously all the way through to first team. So I think that part of training really gives players that sort of emphasis of actually, this is where I could be if I work hard and I put the work in. And then obviously having the gym and the physios and everything on site for them, and the education opportunities on site, it just means that they come to Bearwood and they get all of their sort of life skills catered for, rather than having to think about, oh, I've got to go off here or I've got to go off here. So yeah, I think it's a beautiful site as well in the sun. So yeah, I really enjoy being there anyway. I've worked in predominantly male-dominated sports for pretty much throughout my whole career, so you get used to the sort of banter, but it is nice to have that sort of equal playing field. And especially I think when you look at the whole club with the women's team training full-time on site as well, I think it's a really nice feel for especially our academy boys, who really get a level of respect for the female professionals that we have as well, because they can see how hard they're training. And yeah, I think it is a really sort of equal, diverse sort of workforce that we've got.
And there's a good spread of women employed obviously in the women's team, but obviously I see women around in the men's team as video analysts and physios, and obviously on the admin side of things. So yeah, it's a fairly inclusive employer, I would say.
In my time at Reading, I've never had an experience where I've been disrespected or someone's not done something to me because I'm a woman. So I think that sort of tells you what we need to say, is that there is that culture of respect for all staff members, regardless of who they are, which I think is a credit to the boys as well for being that sort of forward thinking and actually taking the sort of 21st century of football forward with them.
Yes, and it's great that women's football is more visible on TV now as well, which is getting exposure, and which will only encourage the youngsters coming up into more people playing, and then more opportunities here in Reading for them to take part in football and then grow up into the first team, which would be great.
Just these small things that, especially, football is such a massive part of our national culture and our national identity. I think if we can promote women in football, it's not only going to have a knock-on the female side of the game, but also in sort of young female professionals who want to get into working in football. I think, having people in clubs in high up positions like we've got at Reading, it's almost role modelling for those young women who may be going through university or thinking about, actually, I want to work in football, but I'm not sure if there are opportunities for me. So I think that sort of break the bias is really great in that, and that we can really see that there are sort of areas that you can aim for within football, which hopefully hopefully is sort of helping to push those barriers forward within sport in general.